What's going on, everyone? It's Sean, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings, and this video is all about 3 things you need to know if you're purchasing a house that already has solar panels on it. I had a buyer a couple of months ago who went under contract with a house that had existing solar panels on it. In fact, it was a really huge selling point for them because they owned a Tesla and these were Tesla solar panels. Well, come to find out, there were some things that we didn't realize before we went under contract with the house that after the fact were really good lessons to learn. And so that's what this video is all about. 3 things that you definitely should be aware of as you're entering in to a contract to buy a house with existing solar panels on it. My first tip is to understand what type of purchase agreement that seller has made with that solar provider. Are those panels leased? Are they financed? Or did that seller pay cash and are they owned outright? Because if they're financed or leased, that probably means that you're taking over that agreement, which means that you're taking on a monthly payment over a specified period of time. That may or may not impact your eligibility to buy that house depending on your finances and what the lender says. So the lender definitely will have a say-so in that if there is a monthly payment remaining on those solar panels. So understanding that purchase agreement is really, really key. This is also something that you should keep in mind if you know that there are lots of things that need to be fixed on the house in order for you to move forward with purchasing it or closing on that house. If there's a payment, a monthly payment, or the seller needs to pay those solar arrays outright in order to move on or feel comfortable, or that's a part of the purchase agreement between you and the buyer, they may not be as willing to fix some things that might come up on the inspection report. And so it's good to keep in mind, if there is a laundry list of things that need to be fixed and you intend on asking the seller to fix those things as well as pay off the remaining balance of those solar panels, that could impact what the seller is willing to do for you or concede from that inspection report. The second tip is to understand what condition the actual roof, the shingles or the tiles that are on the roof and protect the house are in. If the roof needs to be replaced because of hail damage, this could do 2 things. Number 1, it could delay the closing because what has to happen is the solar panels need to come off and then the roof needs to be replaced. And depending on your area, your county, that may or may not take a bit of time for the county to sign off on that project. The second thing that you need to understand is this could potentially be an additional cost to the seller. So maybe it's something that the seller agrees to do outright, or maybe it's a negotiating point between the buyer and the seller where maybe there's an adjustment of the purchase price in order for that burden of the seller to be a little bit lightened in order for everyone to agree to move forward with this purchase. But this definitely has a severe impact on that transaction if the roof does need to be replaced. The second thing that you need to understand is that that house has to be insured in order for your lender to approve that loan, which means that you're going to have an insurance company sign off on the condition of the roof, and if the condition of the roof is bad or needs to be replaced, the insurance company will not insure that house most likely, and that could delay things until that house or that roof is repaired. The third and final tip that I have for you when considering buying a house with existing solar is to understand how much energy is that array producing for you. That has an impact on your electricity bill. It actually should reduce the electricity bill. And if you have an electric vehicle that you plan on plugging in every night, that also is going to subsidize the cost to power that vehicle. So this could have a very positive impact on your month-to-month cost of this house when you purchase it. Understanding how large that array is in kilowatts will help you determine what your month-to-month cost will be for electricity. Most likely that seller will have some sort of documentation that they will be able to provide to you that will give you some sort of indication in terms of energy produced on a monthly basis and how much that impacts the utility bill. And if the seller does not have any sort of documentation from the actual solar provider, you can always ask them for the utility bills. What's the average on a month-to-month basis for how much that electricity bill runs throughout the year? This can give you an indication as to how much that will reduce your month-to-month cost when you purchase this house. As for my buyers who went under contract with a house that had existing solar on it, they actually had to terminate the contract because the roof did need to be replaced. It was well worn, there were some shingles missing, and they would not be able to get that house insured by their insurance provider, and therefore would not be able to close. So we had to terminate the contract because the seller was unwilling to pay for the roof replacement. And so I'm passing this example along to you so that you can know ahead of time and hopefully avoid the situation where you go under contract with a house that has solar and discover some sort of obstacle that you cannot get around with that seller, and hopefully avoid the whole mess of having to go under contract and then terminate. What about you? Have you been in a situation where you were the buyer or seller in a real estate transaction and you ran into a hiccup with the solar? I'd love for you to put it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you're new to the channel, please consider liking or subscribing, and that will keep you up to date with new videos that I publish on a regular basis. Sean Mitchell, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings, signing off. I'll see you on the next video.